Hi there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I'm here with my next update. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, 2016, and Mania is almost done. Actually, technically Mania is done, but those of us who are kind of super crazy, Mania is almost done. That makes me sad. I have a few things to talk about with you today, of course. We're going to do my works in progress. I have a couple of those that I've made some significant effort on. I have my Mania starts from this past week. I have the remainder of my Mania starts. And then I also have my plans for June, because once Mania is over, then we go back to sort of normal. What does that mean? I don't know yet, but we're going to talk about at least what some of my plans are. So let's just go ahead and get started with it, shall we? When I spoke to you last, now I recorded on Thursday, but I know the video didn't post until Friday. But when I spoke to you last, I had set a crazy goal for myself. And that goal was to get my Heaven and Earth Designs challenge number 2 complete. And I did it. I did it. So I'm going to go ahead and show that to you. First of all, you'll be seeing a preview of what the project will look like complete here. And the design is April. It's by Anna Dittman. Charted, of course, by Heaven and Earth Designs. And now you'll be seeing a preview of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here is where I am today, with page number 1 finished. Ooh, so exciting. Okay, so let me fold up some of this monstrosity. There we go. That's good. So you can see that that whole page is done. All stitched up. Like we talked about, this section up here, it is very, very pale, almost white. But it is nonetheless stitched. And I did it. I finished the challenge and subsequently the page on Saturday. We were going to Blacksburg to do some wedding things, but we didn't end up having to leave until about 11:30. So I had a couple of hours to stitch in the morning, and I chugged along and got this thing done. And I'm so stoked. It took so much less time than I thought it was going to. I know I've said that, but I had about 1,000 stitches to do. But the fun thing about this cross country is that by the time I got up into this section, I didn't have to refer to my chart because I knew that this entire section was filled with that color. So I just had to go. So that was kind of cool. I will never stitch like this again, that being said. But I did appreciate that, at least at that stage of it. So that is done. So excited. Challenge number 2 complete. And one thing I did want to talk to you guys about was that you might be thinking that having finished that challenge and all the griping and moaning I've done about it, that I wouldn't have any interest in stitching Heaven and Earth Designs for a little while, just, sort of taking a break. That's not the case. I have such an urge to stitch a Heaven and Earth Design right now. I almost started one, another one this week. And the only reason I didn't is because I didn't have fabric. Like, that's just crazy. Speaking of fabric, I don't know if I mentioned, it's 25 count antique white Lugana, my favorite for Heaven and Earth Designs. So yeah, challenge, done. So excited. I don't want to go into a ramble because I've actually recorded this section once before, and I rambled for quite a long time, but basically trying to figure out what they're going to do for the rest of the challenges. Supposedly there's going to be 6. By the time this second one is finished, we'll be over halfway through the year. So we managed 2 in the first half of the year, and now we have to somehow find a way to get 4 into the last half. So my thinking is that the last 4 they're not going to take as much time. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see. Looking forward to seeing what the next challenges are. I know that one of them will be a tent stitch, I think that was mentioned early on. I won't be doing that one, that's for sure. I'm not even going to attempt it because it's just not my style of stitching. So, say love you. Okay, now, whip number 2 of 2. You will be seeing a preview image of it here. This is a dove, and it is by I Love My Designs on Etsy. You will also be seeing what it looked like the last time you saw it. And now I'll go ahead and show you my progress. So this is being done using Dinky Dye's Bolia. It says silk, and the fabric is a 32 count cream Belfast linen. And that's about the progress I've got done. So basically what I worked on was this bit of his tail here. I didn't get a whole lot of time on this, but that's okay. I worked on this Saturday after we got back from Blacksburg. We didn't get back until about 8:30, 9 o'clock, so I got to work on this for just a little bit. But that's okay. Progress is progress. I'm hoping that this Saturday I can finish out his tail. I think that'd be good. And it seems that when I set goals for myself regarding my cross-stitch projects, I get them done. So let's keep that trend up. I like that one. Okay. And those were the only 2 whips that I worked on this week. Because I've been focused on Mania starts and some knitting stuff. But I won't talk about that here. So, shall we get into last week in Mania? Let's do it. Last week in Mania, I have 8 projects to show you. One day was planned double starts, and one day ended up being double starts because I just felt like starting something else. So let's get to it. Last Friday, let's see. I'm going to struggle with the dates here. Maybe I should pull up my calendar. Because I can't think of what the date was last Friday. Why can't I think of the date? I don't know. Okay, so last Friday was the 20th. Okay. Friday the 20th, I started St. Nick by Mill Hill. And if I remember correctly, Friday was not an easy day for me. I was having kind of a rough day. So I got a little bit started on this, but to be honest, working all of that cream got to me. Wasn't feeling it so much. So that's what I got done. And what you see there is his beard. And then those blank spaces will be filled in with beads. So, I mean, I got quite a bit done for just working on it for a little bit of time. I think I put 2 sections of thread. Yeah, I put two lengths in. So, I'll take it. It's progress. It started. And this is little. I mean, you know, they're not very big designs, so no big deal. So that was Friday the 20th. Saturday the 21st, we were in Blacksburg. I stitched on my Heaven and Earth design in the morning, finished that up. We went to Blacksburg, we came back. I worked on my dove for an hour, then I did my Mania start. My Mania start that day was by Tiny Modernist on Etsy. And I am stitching this on 32 count Winterbrook from Under the Sea Fabrics. Here's what it will look like finished up. And I ended up cutting my fabric in half because I found that this design is smaller than I had imagined. So I can use the other half for something else. And as you can see, I mean, I've got a ton of border here on the top. So this is what I got done. Started at the top and just worked my way around a little bit. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors. I really, really love this. I had mentioned that last week that the Buttercup, the yellow fabric, felt a little bit stiffer. This Winterbrook is a lot softer. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't feel like it has any starch to it whatsoever, which I like just as much as the stiffer fabrics. So just point of note. So there's that. And got my start in. I actually think I got more than an hour on that because that looks like a lot more progress than just an hour's worth. Alright. Next, Sunday the 22nd. It was a 2-star day. The reason it was a 2-star date is because 5/22/22. It was also Katie Stash Queen's birthday, so happy belated birthday, Katie. I started with my planned start, and my planned start is Primrose Carrot by the Cricket Collection. I will attempt to remember to link it in the description box so that you guys can navigate to it if you like. I don't have a preview image of it because one does not exist. So here's where I got to. So essentially, it's a carrot. So we start with this leafy section up here, and you see they're kind of all shaped like hearts. That's cute. And then down here comes the carrot itself. And I didn't get a ton done on this because I got it in my head that I was going to start this other thing, so this could not hold my attention. This is on 28 count lambswool Jolene, and I like it. It's a denser weave than I am used to for even weaves, or for my fabrics, I guess, because I'm so used to stitching on linen anymore, and they're pretty open. But I like it. And I think that's all of that color done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all of that color done. So there's that. Okay. Now, start number 2 for Sunday. Ooh, was so excited for this. Okay, so, bit of a story. I, a long time ago, kitted up a project with a piece of fabric. It was a kit, but I substituted out the fabric that came with it for this piece of fabric that I had. And you will know from my video last week that I wanted to start Aladdin by the by Donna Stitch. I was ready to go. After I finished that video, I worked on kitting, ready to go. So I was going to pull that fabric from this kitted up project that had no place in my Mania. I was going to pull that fabric out of that and use it because I thought that it was a 32 count cream Belfast, and it was not. It's a 28 count Cashel, also by Zweigart, but it's a 28 count, and on 14 28 count Aladdin is 14 inches wide or 16, 14 or 16 inches wide, I can't remember. I believe it's 16, so that would have given me a total of 1 inch for a border. It's not going to work. So, plus my Beauty and the Beast is on 32 count, so I kind of would like them to be of similar size. So I decided to scrap that idea, and Aladdin is going to wait until I have fabric to do it. In the meantime, I have this piece of fabric just sitting there, unused. Now mind you, I have a few fabrics that I'm not using, but now this one's in my head and it's at the forefront of my mind. Fast forward to Sunday. It's Katie's birthday. I like celebrating Edmund's birthdays when I can, if I have the opportunity to. I know that last year for one of the summer's last hurrah projects, I worked on a project that Charity had picked. So Sunday happened. It's 22, 5:22, 2. I need another start. Chatelaine just happened. So I have this 18 by 27 cut of 28 count cashel. And I have this chatelaine in my pattern preview image here. I have this pattern in my stash, just begging me to start it. This is Bold Band Sampler number 3. So reds and yellows and golds and pinks. And I thought, yep, I'm going to start that. So I pull up the materials list for Bold Band Sampler number 3. Calls for 28 count antique white cashel linen. And my piece is just the right size for it. So I thought, okay, well that's great. How about threads? And I have to tell you guys that this is one of the cheapest chatelaines, full-size chatelaines that's out there. For the full kit without fabric from European Cross Stitch is $39. $39. That's amazing. There's not a whole lot of specialty threads in this one, so that, of course, helps bring the price down, but there's a few. So here's where I got to. Oh, it's so pretty. So this is the inside of the outermost border. I know that's confusing, but it's the inside of the outermost border. And then this is the first band here. And so what I worked on was some of the black and then some of the gold, just to make sure I got some color in there. And the black I decided to substitute for Anchor 403 because I like Anchor Black better. And since I knew I was going to be doing some of these long stretches with it, I thought better go with the black that I like a little bit more. So that's what I got done. And I am so pleased with it. It makes me so happy. Again, I love Zweigard's 28 count. It's just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. So there we have it. I am so excited about that. I absolutely adore chatelaine patterns. They just make my heart happy. If I was a braver soul, I would have started Scotland, but I decided against it. I thought, no, I don't know, that's a little too crazy. Let me not do that. Plus, I don't think that fabric is quite big enough. I don't think it's quite wide enough. I think I need a full 30 by 30 piece for that. So anyway, got my chatelaine start. So pleased, so happy with that. Okay, so then, let's move on to Monday, the 23rd. I started The Berry Collector by Nora Corbett, aka Little Miss Mardi Gras. I am stitching that on half of a fat quarter of 32 count Autumn Belfast by Under the Sea Fabrics. And here's where I got to. So I stitched a big green blob that's a part of her skirt. It's about where I got to. Let me see if I can't pull up that so I can show you where that is. We're looking in this region right here. So that's what I did. I worked on 3 shades of green from the beginning of the 900s in the DMC collection. So there you have it. And I think these greens on this fabric absolutely make it sing. The cool thing is that the greens help bring out the like the darker not discolored, but just differently colored portions there Oh, I think it's beautiful. I am so excited for those. So ready to get my Black Forest pixies done and hung up together. And of course, you know, by the time I get them all done, there will be 6 more, but that's okay. I don't mind being a collector. Okay. I'm having a hard time being comfortable here on the floor today. I'm not sure why. Okay, let me steal a quick sip. And then we can talk about yesterday. So yesterday, I went up to Northern Virginia to get my dress altered. I know, coming down to the wire here, and I'm just now getting it altered, but it's not a whole lot that needs to be done to it. So I thought that it was going to be a quick trip. I was going to be home by noon. Well, my mom and I decided to go shopping. So I got home about 5 o'clock. A long day of shopping. Maybe that's why I can't get comfortable, because I was running around yesterday. So my starts happened really late. But that's okay, because I got to both of them. Yesterday was another 2-start day. My first was Queen Anne's Lace by Nora Corbett. This is from Just Cross Stitch, April of 2016. And I am stitching it on 28 count Crystal Wren by Picture This Plus. And I basically got to like the entire color palette. Not all shades, but there's pinks, there's greens, there's yellows, there's whites. The only thing, I guess I didn't get to the skin tones, but you know, that's fine. So that's what I did yesterday. It's kind of funny. It looks like a teapot with a skirt. So you see, that's like the spout of the teapot. Smoke coming out of it. Handle. Teapot itself. I don't know. I see things in my project sometimes. So love that. You guys can see the sparkle in this. I am cutting it awfully short widthwise on this, but I think it's going to be okay. I think I'm going to have about 1.5 inches on each side. So it's not ideal, but I'm not going through fabric woes anymore. I refuse. So there's that. Then after I did that, Danny and I had dinner, and then I went to go work on my second start for the day, and I got a nasty bad migraine. So I didn't get a whole lot of progress on it before I gave up, and I was just like, I got it started, but I'm going to bed. So this is, you'll be seeing a preview image of it here. This is the monogram letter S from Ava's Creations on Etsy. I'm stitching it on 28 count dark cobblestone Lugana using Classic Colorworks, Razzleberry, and Weeks Dye Works Pumpkin. This I submitted for the Stitchers in Red Color Day Challenge for Stitch Mania, and I only worked on the Razzleberry for the red portions, and I really only put in 1 length of thread before I had to call it quits. But you can see the variegation. It looks really nice there. So that's that. Started with the top of the S. Plenty of border on this one, which is good. So there's that. I'll get back to that eventually. No big hurry or anything. Just giving that pattern a try and giving the monogram style a try. Plus using hokey colors. Hello. Oh, and last week, you know, I spilled a little bit of caramel macchiato on it. Can't see it. Not sure where it was. So that's good. Okay. Last but not least was my start for today. going to start for today is hands-on design, just singular, a year in chalk. And this is May. This is my last piece for the May category. If you watched my Mania plans, then you know that I categorized everything. And I am stitching it using the required threads. This is Gentle Art sampler threads in chalk and mistletoe. The pattern calls for 30 count Weeks Dye Works gunmetal. However, there was no 30 count on 1, 2, 3 stitch. There was 35 count. So I got 35 count, and I am stitching this 1/2. Here, let me fold that in half because it's kind of see-through. So that's what I got done. So I did the top green border, the green box, and rather than stitch more boring stuff with the white, I just decided to come down and do some lettering. So there's that, and it's really off center. You can see that. Got so much border over here and not a whole lot over there. But that's okay. It's a little thing. No clue what it will be when it grows up and is finished, but nonetheless. I admit that I am not a huge fan of Weeks Dye Works linen. I think it's a witch oat linen, so that's fun. And 35 count is such a weird count. I have to treat it like 36 count, but it's a little bit bigger than that. I don't know. It's weird. But after I stitched on it for a little while, I kind of got into a good groove and was able to keep going. So then, let's go ahead and talk about Mania until next week. The sun's coming out again. That's good. Okay, so we're going to get some more good light. Fix my hair here because it's driving me crazy today. So I have 6 starts left. Presently, I have 6 starts left. There might be another new start in there, like another bonus. Move them over here. But we'll see. See what happens. So, first things first. Tomorrow, May 26th, Thursday, May 26th, my favorite of my Mill Hill kits. I'm so excited for this one. Snowy Owl Snowman, aka Olaf and Hedwig, by Mill Hill, courtesy of Jim Shore. So cute. So ready to start that. Next, on Friday, the 27th, I am starting my favorite of my Etsy designs. Also so excited. This is by Stitchering on Etsy, and it is the Gryffindor crest. And I will be stitching that on 30 count parchment linen. It's nice. Neutral, parchment colored. Very pretty. Okay. Next, on Saturday the 28th, I will be starting the Sparkling Autumn Leaves by Brooks Books. This is a freebie on Brooks Books website, so I'll be sure to link that below. Stitching it on 14 count brown perforated paper. I think I'm going to do probably 2 of each, and I'm going to start with the gold one. Okay, next on Sunday the 29th. So excited for this. Can't even tell you guys. I will be starting Joan Elliott's The Reader. Oh, so beautiful. And she will be stitched on 32 count gingerbread from Picture This Plus. Gorgeous. Okay, then on Monday the 30th, Memorial Day Monday, I will be starting preview image here. Believe I'm going to start with basil. These are the teacup herbs. Teacup herbs. I don't know why, but that doesn't sound right. And this is from Just Cross Stitch. Where's my card? May, June 2015. And that is also going on the same fabric as Primrose Carrot, 28 count lamb's wool Joblin. Nice soft neutral for that. Easily attainable so that I can do the full series on the same fabric. And then on the 31st of May, the end of Mania, I will be starting Summer by the Cricut Collection on this 32 count pastel lilac. It's not showing up very well because it's not an in-your-face color. It's just a pale pinky leaning purplish-ish. And that will conclude Stitch Mania 2016. Whew! Okay, I'm sad that it's ending, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I miss my whips. I have 30 whips that I haven't touched all month, and I miss them. So, yeah, looking forward to get back to those. Okay, I'm going to reset here, and I'll be right back with my plans for June. So, let's talk about my plans for June. As of June 1st, I will have 70 whips. Yes, 70. So that's a lot. But June also means Wine and Whips, which is a stitch along hosted by Stitch Mania, in which you work on projects that sort of make you whine. I-N-E. So I have no idea what my rotation is going to look like as of June. Because I will have 70 whips, I almost feel like maybe I do need to do, I need to take a leaf out of the Stash Queen's book or Queen of Starts and work on a whip a day. Maybe I need to be doing something like that, because some of these only need a day or two more and then they'll be done. So maybe I need to be doing that. In the meantime, while I'm working on figuring that out, here's what I know I will be doing in June. So the first thing that I have is that on June the 1st, I will be starting June by the Cricut Collection, because I am going to do this monthly series. I've already started April. I've started May. May as well go with June. So there's June. That will happen on June 1st. I'm stitching that also on 32 count pastel lilac. It just happens to be the right color for this pattern. So there's that. So I know I will be starting that on June the 1st. Also, June the 1st, we get our next blocks for the stitch alongs. So first, we've got Clouds Factory's Postcards from the World, and I'll just quickly show you where that stands as of today. So we'll be getting our June block on June 1st. What I think would be really cool is if I could get that whole block done that day. I highly doubt that, however, because not only am I starting June by the Cricut Collection that day, but I also have 2 knitting projects that I'm starting that day. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Also, June 1st, on the evening of June 1st, at least the evening for me, I will be getting the next block for the Pumpkin Passport by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery to finish out that top half. That's where this one stands at this point. So there we go. So those I know will be happening there in the beginning of June. Now, I have my 4 whips that I have pulled out for Wine and Whips. At the end of last year for the Mania stitch alongs, I was doing this 4 whips in a month that pertained to the Mania, to the stitch along, and so I would put a week into each of them. So I'm going to bring that back here, starting with Wine and Whips. This is in no particular order. I just have 4 projects here that I consider my Wine and Whips, and so we'll go with that. So let's start with this one. And as per my standard, there's a story for why these projects count for Wine and Whips. So for this one, did somebody say wine? This is Shades of Wine. Get it? Wine, 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 wine. By Northern Expressions Needleworks. This is the first half of my wedding sampler. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Alabaster Newcastle linen by Zweigart. See? Orange stripe. Using the recommended Dinky Dyes silks for that. So that will be one of those for Wine and Whips. Can't be sure when. I'll figure that out. Okay, next, project number 2. This is Be Thankful by Imaginating, because nothing says being thankful like whining. So here's what it will look like finished. This is also like a legitimate wine because it's on Aida, and it's a really, really stiff Aida. So it's not easy to work on top of the fact that I have to stitch it sideways. So there we go. And the designer, it's from Imaginating, but the designer is Diane Arthurs. So here's where it stands currently. Big long piece, hence the reason it's being stitched sideways. So that's where I am at with that one. That will get a week of work. I'd love to have this done by Thanksgiving. I'd love to have it done, period, so that it's not hanging over my head anymore. But anyway, so there's that one. Next, we have Nothing Says Fall Like Wine. So pumpkins and wine. This is another one that's a legitimate wine. This is the Pumpkin Patch Farm Sampler by the Victoria Sampler. I love these designs. I want to do every single one of her designs. But this one is giving me such heartache. I started it over a year ago, and I'm only on the first band. Got most of the first band done. I just have, let's see, what have I got left to do here? Oh yeah, all the leaves. And back stitching. Yeah, pretty much leaves and back stitch. So this tree is not naked, it's full of leaves. This tree is also full of leaves. Are those Lazy Daisy leaves? No. Thank goodness. I've already done the Lazy Daisy. Okay, so I've talked about this so many times. The reason this piece gives me such heartache is that I've had all of the thread issues, particularly the thread that was called for to do those leaves. They sent me, I ordered the accessory pack, which came with pre-cut lengths for all of the threads that you need, so you didn't have to buy a full skein of 18 different silks. Great on the pocket. The one that they sent me had some purple in it, and blue, and green. That does not scream autumn leaves to me in the slightest. So I've gone through this lengthy saga of trying to find the right color. I'm finally going to get this stinking band done. I hope. This is a wine for me, for real. Okay, the next one is a wine only because I'm obsessed with it and I want the finished piece. I want to keep working on it, but I want the finished piece. I want to get to the beating on this. This has sat for too long, so I'm calling it chilled wine. Chilled, you know, frosty, chilled. You get it? I amuse myself. So this is the Frosty Knot Garden. It is by Chatelaine. I believe it's a 28 count. It feels just like that 28 count. Linen, swagart, gorgeousness. My fabric smells funny. Anywho, I haven't worked on this piece in 2016. We're almost to June and I haven't worked on this piece yet. I can't believe that. But I am so in love with this. So I'm whining about this because it's not done yet. And I'm whining about it because I haven't gotten to it yet this year. So this is going to be a wine and whip. It's really just that simple. So those are my 4 projects for wine and whips. And then I'll do some finagling and figuring as far as a rotation is concerned because I want to get that figured out. So we shall see what happens. There's also the Color a Day challenge. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I won't be able to necessarily figure out what my project will be for that because I think that that is going to be rotation dependent, but we'll see. Let's see here. Sorry for the delay. Bear with me for just a second. Pretty in pink. Oh, I can find some pink. That's for sure. Queen Anne's lace. Pops into my head. What else do I have that's pink? Is that it? That can't be it. I have lots that's pink, so stay tuned. I'll let you know. So that's all I've got for you today. No retail therapy this week. None that I can think of. Heaven and Earth just announced their Memorial Day sale, so maybe, but not yet. Not yet. Holding off a little bit. Try not to impulse that one. And I suppose I will end it here. I just want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you take a second to remember why basically the entire country gets Monday off. Just take a moment. And I will be back next week with my end of Mania. I think I'm still going to come back on Wednesday because that just makes sense for me personally. I'll be able to get June started for the Cricut collection for my June monthly, and we'll go from there. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, you know, all of that fun stuff. And I will see you later. Bye.